Hello, beautiful third graders, and welcome back to day 4 of Drawing Conclusions in Poetry. My name is Mrs. Kuhl. I'm the reading coach at J.B. Fisher Elementary School. Please give me a minute so I can share my screen and we can get started. All right, we're almost there. Let's begin with our learning target for the week. I can draw conclusions using evidence from the text and my background knowledge while reading poetry. And what is a conclusion again? A conclusion is something you figure out that is not directly stated or explained in the text. Like yesterday, we read a poem called Fog by Carl Sandburg, and we figured out that he was comparing the fog to a cat. We also read a poem called Clouds by Christina Rossetti, and we figured out in that poem that she was comparing the clouds to the white sheep on the hill. And we did that by using the clues in the poem and our own background knowledge to draw that conclusion. And honestly, I think we're getting really good at it. Today, we're going to focus on a very specific type of poem. It's called a haiku. Haiku is a traditional form of Japanese poetry. Haiku poems consist of 3 lines. The first and the last line of a haiku poem have 5 syllables. The middle line has 7 syllables. These lines rarely rhyme. Haiku poems often focus on images from nature. So let's read an example of a haiku poem. This poem was written by Matsuo Basho. An old silent pond. A frog jumps into the pond. Splash. Silence again. Now let's check to see if it follows the 5-7-5 syllable pattern. An old silent pond. 5. A frog jumps into the pond. 7. Splash. Silence again. 5. Let's look at another one. This haiku poem was also written by Matsuo Basho. In the twilight rain, these brilliant hued hibiscus, a lovely sunset. Now, I'd like you to reread that poem on your own and count out the syllables in each line to check to see if it has that 5-7-5 pattern. You can pause the video now. Okay, let's check your work. Line 1, in the twilight rain. 5, these brilliant hued hibiscus. 7, a lovely sunset. 5. So that's how a haiku poem works. Today, we are going to read haiku poems that were written by a man named Jack Prelutsky. Jack Prelutsky has written a lot of poetry, especially poetry for kids. He's actually really funny. He writes very silly, funny poems. And you can see on the screen, one of his collection of poems is called A Pizza the Size of the Sun. He also wrote another book that you see on the screen, The New Kid on the Block. But I encourage you to check out some of Jack Prelutsky's work because it's very silly and humorous. Today, we're going to read from one of his books called If Not for the Cat. Now, this book of poetry is unique because it is a collection of 17 haikus that describe a variety of animals. Each poem is also a riddle, which prompts us to draw a conclusion using the text evidence to figure out which animal he is describing. So we're going to do a few of these together. It's going to be fun. Now, while I read the haiku poem to you, I want you to ask yourself these questions. What does the poem say? What do you already know about the animal? What creature is the author describing? So, I'm going to share some of these haiku poems with you from the book, If Not for the Cat. And I'm going to start with the one that, the title poem. And I want you to think about those questions and try and figure out which animal Jack Prelutsky is describing in the haiku poem. If not for the cat and the scarcity of cheese, I would be content. So which animal is he talking about? A scarcity of cheese would be that you didn't have enough of it. Scarcity is not having enough of something. So if he doesn't have enough cheese and there's a cat around, who could this be? You got it. It's a mouse. The mouse would be content if the cat wasn't around and he had a lot of cheese. So there's the picture. Let's read another one. Let's see if you can figure out which animal he's describing. I am slow, I am. Slowest of the slow, I am. In my tree, I am. So, which animal do you think Jack Prelutsky is describing? One that's very slow, hangs out in trees. You got it. It's a sloth. And here's the picture of the sloth. You see that? Let's try another one. Don't think about it. Just leave the vicinity if you hear my tale. Leave the vicinity means to leave the area. So if you hear his tail, you're gonna want to leave. So which animal has like a noisy tail? That might be a little scary. Yes, you've got it. A rattlesnake. All right, let's do one more. From nests in the clouds, we survey our dominion with telescope eyes. So what are some clues in the text? I heard the word nests and cloud, so that makes me think of a bird looking out with telescope eyes. Do you know of a bird that's known for having really great eyes? You got it. Eagle, eagle eyes. And there's the picture of the eagle. So this is a book that you might want to pick up some time to read the rest of the haikus and try and figure out which animals he's describing. So I'm going to go back to my slides. Give me just 1 second. And we'll finish up. So in your reading response today, I would like you to try to write a haiku. Remember the syllable pattern: 5 syllables in the first line, 7 syllables in the second line, 5 syllables in the third line. You may choose an animal, something in nature, or a topic of your choice. But try to make it a riddle like Jack Prelutsky. If you would like to explore some other haikus, you can also log into Epic and read the book If It Rains Pancakes. This is a book of haiku and lantern poems. I'm just going to give you a sneak peek right now. This is on Epic. So you can see it is a book of haikus, and they look very entertaining. So I wouldn't make you write a haiku unless I wrote a haiku. So this is Mrs. Kuhl's haiku, and it's a riddle, something in nature. I want you to try to figure it out. Standing very tall in a field bright and sunny, a summer delight. You think you know what I'm talking about? Think about the clues in the poem, what you might already know. If you guessed sunflower, you are correct. I was describing a sunflower, my favorite flower. You also have some independent practice today on Common Lit. So of course you may log into Common Lit and search for the poem One of a Kind by J. Patrick Lewis, or you can print the PDF that's on your learning path and complete the questions. This is what it looks like today. One of a kind. The guiding questions, assessment questions, and discussion questions are there to help you. I hope you enjoyed learning about haikus today and enjoy writing one of your own. And I can't wait to see you again tomorrow. Thank you so much for being with me. Bye, third graders.